Hello everyone, Roland Robles here with MLC Technical Team. Today we're going to look at the functionality of PDM Professional using CAD documents other than SOLIDWORKS. Specifically in this short presentation, I'll be leveraging Solid Edge files with PDM Professional. In this case, what we're going to do is go through a little scenario here where a vendor has provided me a solid edge assembly with the components, and I need to make a change to that. And I want to manage this change and the approvals inside PDM Professional. The first thing that you'll notice is that PDM Professional is Windows Explorer. In this case, my vendor sent me a bunch of solid edge files, and I need to get those guys into the vault. Migrating data into the vault, whether it's Solid Edge, SolidWorks, AutoCAD, is all the same. We simply find our documents that we have, and we're going to go ahead and copy them. I'm going to click on my vault folder. It's going to ask me to log in since I just logged into my computer, and then it's going to dump me inside the vault. In this case, our PDM Professional Vault is Windows Explorer, which is a very familiar interface for pretty much all users, CAD users and non-CAD users. In my example, I'm going to go work in this project 0008, and I'm an engineer, so I'm going to be putting some CAD files in here. And the way that we get these CAD files in is just by simply right-clicking and choosing Paste. When I paste these documents in, I'm then ready to check them in. And essentially, checking in is kind of like making a deposit into your bank account. In PDM Professional, it's as simple as going to your Actions tab and choosing Check In. This will be the first version since these are brand new files, and you'll also notice, along with managing the version history, it is also managing and understanding the CAD architecture. For example, if I click on this solid edge assembly and I go to the bill of materials, you'll notice that all of the piece parts for that solid edge assembly are automatically read in to the vault correctly. Likewise, the Contains tab shows you the actual file reference history. The reverse of that is true. So if I click on a piece part and I wanted to see everywhere this part is being used, I can simply click on the tab called Where Used, and you'll see the fact that this drive pulley is being used in this drive motor assembly. Again, just to reiterate, these are all solid edge files. All of our other functionality works just the same like for SOLIDWORKS. For example, when we're inside the vault, you can go to our Preview tab and you'll see your preview. You can even rotate and zoom in and zoom out. Our customizable data card houses all of the information that you would want to know about an engineering document. Our version history starts showing you and managing the versions of the parts, assemblies, and drawings. In this example, I'm just going to make a very simple change to this sub-assembly, so that way we can see how the versioning is controlled and also the approval process. To make a change to any document, not just Solid Edge, what we want to do is we want to check that out. The action of checking out the document gives you the ability to actually modify the document. Solid Edge, SolidWorks, and Autodesk users alike will really appreciate that because that will prevent somebody from changing a document that they really shouldn't be changing. In this example, from Windows Explorer, I just simply clicked on my Solid Edge assembly and it opened up that assembly inside Solid Edge. In this case, I'm just going to go ahead and delete out one of these components to make a design change to this assembly. To do this, we'll right-click and we'll choose Delete. I've made my change, no longer have the little motor, and we're going to go ahead and save that change. So everything is going to be the same as most users are used to, just by simply doing their day-to-day work and choosing the Save button. Once you're done with your assembly, to track that change, what we're going to do is go ahead and go back to Windows Explorer. Now that I've made a change to that assembly, what you'll see is on this version tab, instead of saying 1 of 1, it shows you a simple dash of 1. What that means is the first version was the version we initially checked into the vault, and the dash illustrates to all users in the organization that Roland has currently made a change and is in the process of committing this change back into the vault. To commit the change back into the vault is a very simple step. We simply right-click on our Solid Edge assembly, we check it in, and it gives us the ability to start communicating with the rest of our Solid Edge users, letting them know what we did. In this case, I'm going to just say removed drive motor for customer request, and we'll hit check in. Once we finish this check-in process, you'll see that the version went from 1 of 1 to 2 of 2, letting everybody know that there is now 2 versions of this, the version I initially created and the version that I just modified by removing that assembly. The nice thing is by going and clicking in Bill of Material, again, you'll notice that our PDM Professional recognizes the file architecture from the native CAD file directly. This holds true for SolidWorks, Solid Edge, and Inventor alike, along with many others. If I went and I clicked on the part that was formerly in that assembly and I go to Where Used, one of my favorite pieces of functionality is the fact that this shows you that this file, right, this little DC motor, was used in the drive motor assembly, this guy, in the first version. So not only is it controlling your architecture, it's actually controlling the history of the architecture and giving you a nice, easy, legible history for everybody, not just Solid Edge users or SolidWorks or Inventor. Everybody gets the same interface. Now that we're done with this project, let's go ahead and submit this Solid Edge assembly to the next state in our workflow. In my case, when an engineer is done with working on something, they need to submit it to their engineering manager for approval. The way that we do that is we simply right-click on the file, we go to Change State, and we submit this for review. Again, what you're going to see is, since I'm submitting the Solid Edge assembly for review, it's actually grabbing all of the components, all of the files that this assembly is referencing. So it is an intelligent PDM vaulting tool. We're going to go ahead and put a comment in here. All right, we'll say done with design, please review. Here, just like a SolidWorks user, we can actually notify our other Solid Edge users that this product is going to the next step. All right, so I'm going to send a notification through email to my manager. Please look at current design to make sure this works properly. When I hit OK, what you'll notice is not only did my assembly, but all of the parts that assembly needs went ahead and moved from the state called work in process to the pending approval. Since this subassembly is no longer using that assembly, you'll notice it is not being pushed along as desired. Now, we'll make believe that we are done with this and we've looked at this and we've approved it. Everything looks good. So how do we get this to the final approval? We simply right-click on it, change state, and this time we're going to go ahead and release documents. Looks good. Ready for production. When I hit OK, what you'll notice is that all of these files go from our pending approval state into the release state and went ahead and notified all the key members of our design team, letting them know that our files have been approved. The awesome thing about this is that regardless of file type, Solid Edge, SolidWorks, AutoCAD, Inventor, it went ahead and assigned the official revision. In my revision scheme, I'm using revision A, and it wrote who did the approval and who did the design. So I created these files, and then I also approved these files. The last thing that I want to show you is, like any file inside our PDM Professional Vault, we can always go back and look at a total history or even go look at an old version. To do that, like most things in PDM Professional, it's just a right mouse button away. If I right-click on this Solid Edge assembly and go to History, I can see when I created the file. I can see when I initially put it into the vault. I can then see that I went from WIP to pending approval, and here's all of my comments. I then went from pending approval into the release state, and then finally, once it got released, it got assigned its official revision A. The really neat thing about this is, like any other file in our vault, you can go back and retrieve an old version if you wanted to see what this file looked like previously before getting approved. With that said, this was really just a primer so that you guys could see how a Solid Edge user would be working inside PDM Professional. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me directly at roland.robles@mlc-cad.com, or you can reach me on my direct line at 512-201-2047. Thank you for your time.